private dancer.
Dancing. I was trying to keep it PG-13.
Do what you want me to do.
You see that? Okay. We're only 5 minutes off. Hey everyone, welcome to the Completely Unnecessary Podcast live from Portland Retro Gaming Expo 2018 alongside Ian Ferguson. Howdy. Shoulder to shoulder, I'm Pat Contri. So Ian gets to, yeah, Pat gets to silence. I like it. Let's see where you guys are at. Well, this is like Hippie Nation, and you know, Portland, Ian's closer to that than me. Ian's leaning way forward, that's okay.
Yes, it is.
We got the Belvita helping out, not sponsoring the podcast, but we got some stuff lined up for us. Ian, how's your Portland going so far?
That's been great.
That's it, okay.
I had some delicious noodles. Frank's Noodle House. I don't know, it was really good. It was like around the block from our hotel. And I've played a lot of pinball. That's what I've done so far. Yep, that was good.
I got probably the crown jewel of the convention, and this is no joke. I have a signed copy of Danny Sullivan's Indie Heat. A sticker sign and the cartridge that's authenticated.
Yes.
Danny's now doing a Sirius XM show weekly about indie racing. So my Sirius XM stocks should shoot through the roof now.
He's still alive?
Do you want to be after this podcast panel? Disrespect the king like that?
He's a good man.
So this is an interesting time, Ian, for retro gaming, the evolution of modern gamers wanting to play the old 30-year-old games in a brand new way. And it seems now every other month we're hearing about a new console that gets at that itch. Like that.
Pat never touches me. I don't know what's going on.
Hopefully he's not scratch and sniff. But so
the study was washed like 2 months ago.
So analog Ian has been sort of the forerunners of this realm with the NT, which was their FPGA. Well, originally they just cannibalized Famicoms. Right. But then the Mini NT was an FPGA NES. And you had the Super NT, which is a Super Nintendo FPGA. And now, Ian,
we have the only one that matters.
Oh, really?
Yes.
The Sega MG, Super MG. Super MG, Mega MG. I do a podcast. Mega SG, Ian.
Let me clue you in on a little trivia.
Okay.
That's Mega for Mega Drive and SG for Sega.
Well, I thought Sega MG might be Sega Mega Drive. That would make more sense to me.
I mean, they can't put Sega in the title.
That's true. Sega's very litigious. So the Mega SG, Ian.
Yes.
You're getting ordinary. I love it. I'm gonna scratch you again if you don't calm down. So the Mega SG is an FPGA. We're good. Sega Genesis. That's going to be available for $189.99.
Comes in 4 hot colors.
4 hot colors. What are those hot colors? There they are.
We got white, we got Japanese, we got American, and we got Euro.
Okay. Which one do you prefer, Ian?
I like all 4.
You gonna buy all 4?
I would like to buy all 4 and wear them around my neck on a big chain.
So it also includes, we'll just run through everything here, and these awful ads.
So it also does Sega Master System cartridges, and it will do Mega Drive, and it will do Genesis out of the box.
To be this good takes analog. So look at this. No emulation. 1080p, 0 lag, total accuracy, compatible with. And Mega SG is not a plug-and-play toy.
No, it's not.
Okay. 2100 plus. Sega Genesis, Mega Drive, and Master System game cartridge library. No compromises. There you go. And there's an adapter, a plug just for the Sega CD, just like the original. That's great for the old loved Sega CD games. Their 8-bit dudes also help me out with this, like they did with the Super NT with their 6-button pad here, and they do quality products. I have the SN Pro 30, which is a great Super Nintendo one, and it has all the extra buttons, so you can use it with the Switch. It has the home button, has the extra 2 triggers on the back, so it's your all-in-one sort of functionality.
Your one-stop shop.
One-stop shop for modern and retro stuff on the Switch. High fidelity sound, reference quality control. I'm not sure what that means, but being that it's FPGA, this is the most accurate you would get besides the one in the original Sega Genesis. Unparalleled compatibility. So they're also doing these interesting little plastic card adapter shells that fit in the system, and it's going to come with one for the Sega Master System when you order this.
Right.
So that's great. So really you're getting 2 systems right out of the box, right there, for $190. Then they're also planning for the Game Gear, because that's basically the same guts as the Master System. The cards, the SG-1000, and then the 3000, which I think is interesting.
I actually think that's kind of one
So,
of the neatest things. Because
we're just going to cover everything, and maybe 32X we'll get into, but we're just going to cover all the Sega systems up to, you know, the Genesis. So that's cool.
The SG-1000 is pretty interesting because those aren't exactly cheap to find. And when you do, I mean, you're going to pay a lot of shipping. So that's interesting. That should open up a whole library for a lot of people who maybe have never experienced it. Game Gear is nice because I know that there are people who love it, but there's good games on it, and it's not, sorry if I'm going to insult anyone, it's an awful handheld. And I love handhelds. I mean, that's my bread and butter, and I like some shitty handhelds, but I can't do the Game Gear. So, okay, so that's great. So this is potentially up to 1, 2, 3, 6 systems, 5 or 6 systems if you think, well, the 3000, 1000, you want to say they're different. They're not really. But Game Gear, Master System, My Card, which is what Master System. So it's interesting. So they're going to come out next year, sold separately, those other ones. Can you do me a favor? Can you scroll back up a little bit? Scroll. Where do you want to go? Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Who designed that? Who made that?
What, you don't like the black lettering on?
GeoCities bullshit. That is awful. That is miserable.
They're not a scumbag seller of the week, though.
No, they're not, but that is scumbag seller of the week quality web design.
I want a review copy of this.
I do too.
Maybe
Maybe they'll like my sassy attitude. That is awful.
This is probably worse though.
That's not good either.
That's probably worse to me.
They make great products, but that's bad design.
So here's the 8-bit N30. So they have the SN30, which is the same version for Super Nintendo. They look great.
The contours on that are fantastic.
Sexy, right? Sleek.
It would make a good bar soap.
Keep it PG-13. So here's your tech specs here. Scanline options, scalar options. You can stretch it out. There you go.
Stretch it
SD card firmware updating. So I wonder if that means someone will unlock that for ROMs. We don't know. We don't know, but probably.
They'll unlock the heck out of it.
Probably.
Hopefully for Sega CD, and I'm hoping eventually we'll get 32X support.
Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't be able to do that. They'll have the firmware update. From the magic of good old Kevtris, who also worked on the NT and the Super NT. So the mini NT and so how do you order this? How do I order this? Store. All right, no internet. Okay, we can't order it. Okay.
Way to go.
Oh, I ruined it. I ruined the panel. Is there Wi-Fi here?
Everyone go home.
Oh, there's an open one. Still my bank information. Okay. Well, here's an article about it. So, Ian, are you in the market for this at $190? I thought you said the shipping was a little pricey.
I believe the shipping is $40, which that's kind of. I mean,
I'm not going to buy Wi-Fi, so we're not.
That's silly. $40 shipping. I think that was just done so they could release it and say that it was under $200. But I think that puts it at about $210. That's really about $210 because there's no way it's costing $40 to ship that.
You don't think so? Or what are you calling that analog for their shipping practices?
I mean, I'm doing it because you agreed with me last night that was bogus, but you're letting me.
I don't recall that conversation, Ian. This is Pat throwing you under the bus right now in front of a live crowd.
Pat is throwing me under the bus. Yes, I'm calling them out.
Yeah, well, okay.
Hello, Analog. Your shipping is bad. Your website's not great. Your products are fantastic.
Yes. For a box that size, this should not be that much bigger than the Super NT. It should not cost priority shipping more than, I'll be generous, $15 to $20 to ship this. It should not cost.
But it's so cute.
It's adorable.
I can't stay mad at it for long.
Can't stay mad at Analog, baby. So, please, turtle graphics in the future. That would be great. So there were some shots fired on the official Analog account at a certain other console right now that is struggling that we spoke about. They said this is no, and I'm almost directly quoting, no hybrid emulation bullshit. That was the official Analog Twitter account. I don't know who they could be talking about, Ian. I have no idea who that is.
No clue.
So this is going to come out, and it's going to do well. I'm not sure it'll do as well as the Super, but it'll still do well enough. And then now you'll have a new...
That highly overrated system.
Ooh. Now it's highly overrated, not just overrated the Super Nintendo. So I think year after year, you might have a new one until we run out of these. You know, the magic of Contri will keep writing those FPGAs.
I'm really hoping for a PC Engine.
I think that's the final frontier, right? Or a Neo Geo one. That could be interesting. Well, I hear a whoa. I was like, whoa. Wait a second. And I have it cost $1,000? That'd be great. So yeah, I think we're getting there. So now I think we're peaking when it comes to the options to play these old systems with backwards compatibility, because now you have all the flash cards for all these systems. You have these FPGA systems coming out where you have 3 of the major retro systems available. You can mod your old ones to play. You can get your little boxes you set up to your, what are those, the $400 thing that you like?
Oh, the FrameMeister.
The FrameMeister's out there, and now you have companies like you have the GameCube one from Eon Gaming to make an adapter for HDMI, pound cables just as I limited run the past 3 days, their PS1/PS2 HDMI cable. And it's just I think it's like $30, $40, and that's all you need. And it gets the job done, and it converts the signal to HD. So we have now several ways to do this. So I think, though, for people that want this FPGA, though, this is going to be sort of obviously it's going to be the gold standard, because this is better than software emulation. So Retro Freak, Retron 5, Polymaringo, this is a better solution for most people that want that accurate quality. And this is all new hardware. This should last longer than a crusty Sega Genesis from 30 years ago. So, if we get a whole line of these, that could be the solution in the long run. I'm talking about the next 30, 40 years. Like, this is going to be how people play these systems if they want to use the original physical cartridges.
Right.
So, anything else to add, Ian, besides changing your short set because you're so in love with this?
No,
not changing your shorts.
I mean, I changed them before.
Oh, okay.
Before we came. I'm not wearing shorts.
Oh, okay. Well, her face. She's like, oh, that's not good.
I'm wearing pants. I have pants on.
She's horrified. I love it. Oh, God. Okay.
Jeez.
So,
I'm not nude.
Make everyone comfortable now, Ian. Okay.
That's what I do best.
So this is going to be good. Analog can make great products. Going back to Ian.
Oh boy, howdy. Oh Boise.
Let's switch the mics here. Would that be easier? No, it wouldn't be. All right, let's just not touch it anymore.
My hands are clammy.
I guess my fingers are itching from itching you now. So, all right. So we have another. We are in the new age of these systems coming out, FPGAs. Just my Velveeta here. Velveeta shells and cream.
Cheese.
Shells, what did I say? Cream?
Cream.
That would be disgusting.
That's really plain.
That would be disgusting.
That's like a cream of wheat of dinner. Just plain. Just fucking shells and cream. Just thickened with a roux. No flavoring. A little salt and pepper.
Well, this took a left turn.
When doesn't it? You can't just let me up here and talk with no script.
We do a lot of rehearsals for the podcast every couple of weeks. See, they're already disgusted by the shells and cream. They're gone.
Sorry.
I'm sorry about that. This is the typical podcast. It isn't typical.
No, they actually want to rush out and try making shells and cream. They're like, that sounds so good. Let's do it.
Okay, report back to us on Twitter. That's fine. Okay.
No salt, just pepper.
So Ian, there's another FPGA console here. Now it's on Kickstarter. It's the ColecoVision Phoenix, an FPGA ColecoVision console. This was like literally the day or two after the last podcast that this came out. So it's an FPGA ColecoVision. It exists. The prototype's out here. I first saw the prototype at Games 31's convention, who was a part of ColecoVision at Game On Expo. So this is a real thing. They have a prototype, hence why it can be on Kickstarter, so that's good. So there's 218 backers 2.5 weeks ago, almost $57,000 for this project. Here, that's my wheel mouse. So there it is. There's the prototype. They're a functional prototype in a 3D printed case. Final will have an injector.
I didn't realize it was going to be so small. That's crazy.
FPGAs are cute and small.
Well, yeah, they are.
So you can use, you can use the regular ColecoVision controller. I think you can use a Sega Genesis with the same port. I think. I think you can, right? Do you do that? But then you need the buttons though anyway.
Yeah, you
like
need the
play
numpad.
like mousetrap and stuff. Oh, there's NES controller ports? Okay, well there you go. So, see, look at the size. It's like a quarter of the size. That's adorable. And ColecoVision is my favorite pre-NES console.
I love the ColecoVision.
ColecoVision's adorable. It's adorable. Region-free, 100% accurate, all ColecoVision games, HDMI output, digital audio out, special features, video enhanced compatibility built in. See, I don't know all about this stuff about like the opcode, SGM stuff. I just know that it like unleashes the full power of the ColecoVision. You can do slightly more modern games. So I've seen like a video of like
off its shirt.
Yes, ColecoVision's like, I'm here, baby. I did see like a Gradius version on ColecoVision, and it looked respectable. Like it's not the NES one, but it's closer. I think ColecoVision, you're always going to be sort of that in-between Atari, 2600, and NES, but it nudges it a little bit closer.
It's not as awesome as the 5200, but the ColecoVision's got some pectorals.
Yeah, sure. Doing the push-ups. So you have SD card firmware update, SD card slot, which means you can more ROMs in the sucker eventually. Original Super Nintendo port. There you go.
Oh, there's built-in games. That I did not know.
So you get the ColecoVision Phoenix video game system, you get City Hunter and the Caverns of Death, exclusive pack and game cards with a $50 value, and 10 homebrew games at a $150 value. I don't know much about the ColecoVision homebrew scene. I'm assuming these are fun games. Chess Challenge Short, Princess Quest, it's like a Zelda 2 sort of side scroller here, Zombie Near, and a few others. Tank Mission, not combat.
Honestly, with the ColecoVision, I like the games that have come out, or that were released for it. But the homebrew scene is something that I haven't touched with ColecoVision, and it's what interests me, I think, the most about it right now.
So this is going to cost you $199 plus shipping, just for the Phoenix, and then $209 if you get a controller with a Super Nintendo controller, and then it goes up from there, adding in a complete box, Caverns of Death, a limited edition, color edition for Adam, so that'll probably be a white one, I guess.
Calling.
No, it's the black one. You said.
The black is a limited one?
Yeah, because it's more like the original. I think he's got the weird paper one.
Okay, well, we'll follow up on that, sir. I would be thinking that the black would be the original one, but okay. So here's the thing, Ian. This is a cool concept, obviously. It exists. This isn't like the Chameleon. This is a real product. Someone developed the FPGA. The assholes who currently own the Coleco license aren't involved with this, so that's a positive to me. Right? So they're pieces of trash. So the issue, though, is the fact that the end goal, though, is very high. It's $230,000.
Sure.
And at $200 a system, it's unsure if this is going to hit the goal. If you gun to my head, I say this will not hit the goal. So
it's looking tough. A lot of Kickstarters can rally at the end. I've seen plenty of them do it, but I would imagine that there's probably a contingency plan here. I would hope.
yes, I have heard. I know a source close to this. It says that
Really?
there is a contingency plan. So this will come out one form or another. It should come out. There should be a solution to this. I think, though, what we're getting at, though, is the viability of these sort of upgraded modern ways to play old games, that it really, in a sharp way, shows you the limited reach of some of these consoles 35 years later.
Right.
So ColecoVision sold a decent amount back then of systems. Not as much as the Atari 2600, obviously, but it wasn't like even like the Vectrex, which barely got off the ground, was gone in like 2 years. ColecoVision did okay for itself, but 35 years later, who out here is still playing these games, and who here wants to invest 200 plus to play it on a modern TV? Those are entirely different questions.
Right.
And this really gets to the heart of that. What's the size of these audiences for these more niche systems? This isn't the Genesis, this isn't the NES, this isn't the Super Nintendo. This is the ColecoVision. I mean, most people in this room were not alive when this was released. You have to be at least 35 years old to have been around. So,
yeah, I love the ColecoVision system.
So do I.
I'm glad that this is happening. But yeah, it's an interesting juxtaposition to see this happening at the same time that, say, the Mega SG is happening.
And it could be the fact that there's just too many of these being released at one time, with the Polymega the Mega SG, I got it right, and the Phoenix. Maybe it's too much hitting within like a month and a half. Where people are like, oh my god, if they were spaced out more. But again,
what I do think is cool though is when you look back at, say, the popularity of the Atari 2600 and stuff like that. I think it's neat that the ColecoVision has a passionate enough fan base that, as far as I know, this is the first truly dedicated FPGA system for a specific
pre-NES
pre-NES
Oh,
system.
sure. I think so.
I mean, there's plenty of.
I think Kemptress has developed cores.
Yeah. Oh, there's cores for all those, but
not the system.
nothing has come out, specifically like this.
And this isn't Kemptress, by the way. I think it's Brian on here. I think that's who the guy's doing it. Okay.
So, anyways, yeah, I like that. I think it's cool that there's a passionate enough fan base for the system that they're doing it.
But 218 for this Kickstarter hit its goal. Pat math, you need
Pat math is not very good math.
like 1,200 people to back this at $200 each, right? Is it about right? It was a calculator on. But let's just say 1,200 people. And so that's 6 times the amount of people that are currently backing it. So that's tough. I think you need some heavy promotion for people to be aware of this, but I don't know how you find those people that would, maybe the people that bought the ColecoVision, all-in-ones that came out like, 8, 9 years ago. Maybe some people like that would still be interested, but they bought that all-in-one, they might be satisfied by it. You know what I mean? So what audience is there for this besides this 218 people? We'll see. Like I said, this should exist in a form that we could buy, but again, it comes down to the size of the market. Like, what if I did a Fairchild Channel F FPGA? It'd be awesome. Ian might buy it, but you might have 20 people end up backing it. So just what are the size of these audiences?
I think you're comparing apples and bowling balls, huh?
Well, I'm just telling you though, it's just the scale degree though. So this is not Fairchild, it's one up from that, but that's not enough for a Kickstarter though. That's what I'm saying. I'll scratch you again.
And C.
Is that it? Okay. Well, that's our panel here. We'll do a Q&A. I got some Drake's Cakes. Someone was nice enough to send us, give us Drake's Cakes from the East Coast. You guys know Drake's Cakes at all? They're the people that Hostess ripped off for like all their ideas. They're the OGs, 1896. So I'm gonna toss these out to you guys without killing you. Not this one. This one's a hockey puck. This is a cherry fruit pie. So I'm gonna just like toss it in the middle, and there's no liability for me or PRGE. Someone get that. Okay.
Whoa!
I'm sorry. I meant to go a little bit to the left.
Shit.
That's the weight on that. It was supposed to go there.
Whoa!
That was
nice
close.
snag.
I got a coffee cake. This is softer. Put your hands up. Be prepared. This will go to this side. She's horrified again. It's coming for you. No, it's going to go that back left. Oh, I almost hit the cameraman. That would have been bad. And I got a ring ding, which was ripped off as a ding dong. What's the hostess version of this called? Yeah. Fuck hostess. Sorry. Let's go on that side. Hands up. I don't want to be sued. Whoa, that's got some heft on it. Okay. And then now I have a Chick-fil-A half a cookie that I don't know where it came from.
Put that shit down.
It was in my backpack.
Buddy.
What?
Buddy, that's
I think this was a giveaway from an airliner. If someone wants the chip, I'll sign it for you afterwards.
Jesus.
Who wants it? Someone, they want it. All right, I'm throwing it out there. I don't know where it came from, but you want it? You can say yes or no.
Yes.
Yeah, oh, okay. You're getting it. Watch out for that camera. Oh, I almost made it. Okay. So we have a new T-shirt, Ian. I forgot to bring it up, but it's my man. We have a new T-shirt. You guys might want to look into that. We have an autograph signing afterwards at the autograph session. But we'll do a Q&A now. Q&A time live here, as Ian is horrified by me. That's what makes it fun, Ian. It's not a sock. The cookie won't kill you.
It's half a cookie. Put your mouth on it.
You wanted it. No. When I eat these cookies, I break them off my hands. So my DNA, you can't clone me. The DNA is not on there, probably. It's probably a few weeks old. It's okay.
A few weeks.
I don't go to Chick-fil-A though, so I'm hoping I don't know how I got that.
He's saying 2 weeks.
Okay.
Vegetables, 2 weeks.
All right. The Belvita? No, that's what's keeping this up. And no, I'll throw out the Belvita. Shells and cream. So, anyone any questions about anything else going on? In television's announcing something as we speak. I don't know what's going on with that. We'll talk about it in the podcast next week. You can just raise your hands. There's no microphones. Is there a microphone set up for this stuff or no? Yes, not. We'll deal with it. Yes, you certainly raise your hand too.
If you had each to describe your coworker as a video game, what game would you be? Would you be a puzzle, an adventure, would you have glitchy controls? How would you describe each other?
This could be the end of the CU podcast, even as we know it. How will we describe each other as a genre of video game?
Or a specific game?
Or a specific game? Wow. Well, we're going to have to come back to that one.
Pat would be Adventures of Tom Sawyer on the NES.
It's a game you like. That wasn't...
He would be a tough nut to crack and rough on the outside, but pretty good once you get to know.
Oh, okay.
My man!
My man! Right ain't over yet. It's a cool shirt that we got. That's the shirt. Anyway, let's see, for Ian? I don't know. I was going to say Virtual Valerie. I don't know. I'll come back to it. All right. A Mahjong game? Interesting, but I still don't want to get into it? Is that what it is? Okay. Mahjong game. Okay.
I'm
doing the hat board.
So, if you were to choose between one of these new FPGA systems and the original system with either a frame master and an OSSC, which one would you want to play on?
Well, okay, choice between FrameMeister and the original systems or these new FPGA systems. I would just do FPGA, sorry. Like, that's what I would do. We might as well, right?
Okay.
That's what I would do. Even though the cost would ramp up, you know, once you get into a few, you're more than the FrameMeister. What's the FrameMeister go for nowadays? Like 500 or?
No, probably not. I think, well, last time I checked, they were still hovering around 350.
Okay, I thought you said they were going up because they stopped making them.
They did briefly, and then I think they fell right back down to about 350.
Okay.
So I don't know. My favorite system is a PC Engine, and I have a PC Engine Duo R with a FrameMeister, and I'm happy with it. But I got to be honest, say if Analog did a Duo R clone,
oh, we would be all over it.
I would buy one. I mean, it would be nice to have. I love my PC Engine Duo R, but that thing's got a shelf life on it. I mean, I'd love a
capacitors go.
I'd love a great working, you know, picture perfect clone. I mean, I'd love one. I mean, I don't think there's any problem with that. I've got games for it. I would love something to play those games on that I don't worry about as much as my Duo R.
I don't think that we're going to get past the HDMI cable anytime soon. I think people, once you get to like 8K, I mean, are we good? We good on this? How many more lines of resolution do we need? I think we're fine. We don't need smell-o-vision for, you know, a PC Engine. Do we? I don't know.
No.
Ah! All right. Any other questions?
Jesus.
In the back, sir.
Hi. Will you guys ever have any guests on the CU podcast?
No.
I'm glad he makes a decision on that. Any guests on the CU podcast? I think if we ever went weekly, I think we might have to do that just to keep it going. Because there's literally some week, like this podcast coming up on Tuesday, there's a lot of good topics. The last one, there wasn't a lot of topics that were really, I think, that interesting. Like we wouldn't normally talk about like the video game study and aggressiveness and things like that, like normally. That's sort of like a B tier sort of thing. But I'd be open to it. Ian's not though. Ian doesn't like any sort of confrontation besides me. So we'll talk about it, Ian.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Ian, do you recommend trying acid?
Yeah, well,
I wasn't calling on you, but okay.
yes. Yes, if you think he can handle it. I mean,
Kids here, by the way, should we not be? No, say no.
I mean, they slapped a mature rating on Kinsey and I without even talking to us about it because I think they just assumed. So we might have a mature rating without knowing it.
Okay.
If you think you can, yes. Yes.
Yes.
So you guys are talking about this being a big thing, doing the retro systems. What's your guess on what the next FPGA system is going to be? Is it going to be a Neo Geo? Is it going to be whatever Atari they decide on? I mean, there's still a lot of systems out there that had a pretty good player base.
Honestly, I think a PC Engine would do gangbusters for whatever company decides to do it in Japan. And I think that the TurboGrafx got popular enough in the US that it would be a very good one for them because while the games are getting pricier, it doesn't have the barrier of entry that Neo Geo does. So I think PC Engine would make a lot of sense.
If they could pull off a Neo Geo and only charge $200 for it, I think they would do extremely well. Even with the cartridges costing so much. The fact they can do MVS or AES, they probably would do whatever.
Sure. Plus, if
that'd be
it'll
fine.
handle a flash cart.
Yes.
And there is a flat, now that there is a flash cart, you can get around that.
I mean, hell, I'm going to ask Analog probably next month. I'll even say, hey, is there a PC Engine one on the way? I mean, they might say no, but nudge, nudge. Next year there might be something else. Why not? Kevtris is writing away. He's plugging away. How does he? It's like a nice quill pen. He's writing the FPGA code. It's an art form. I don't know how it works. It's not hybrid emulation though. Yes, you. That got horrified before by Ian. How are you?
Why do you think that the Mega SG didn't do like a Sega Mind Conquer?
Why do I think they did that? They probably you mean like a slot built in for the cards, you mean? Probably the cost versus who's going to use it, probably. There's only 6 card games in the US, and in Europe were there any in Europe? No. It's only 6 games, right?
I think it was 9 in the US.
Something like that. So it's like, who's actually going to buy the system? We have to spend money on putting this extra slot in, and then no one's going to use it. So
also because the Master System is an adapter as well. I feel like if they were already doing adapters for the Master System, then it would probably make sense to just do the card slot as an adapter as well.
Are you a big Sega My Card game fan?
I'm a Sega. I love Sega. I'm a Sega fanboy.
So you want to play that Ghost House in the best possible quality?
Spy vs. Spy and Transbot.
Oh, wow.
Transbot's fun.
I found the Spy vs. Spy Sega Master System fan. All right. She's excited. Yes, sir.
Hey Ian, do you think it's worth collecting just the EU cards, or like a PC Engine only? Because I know the Turbo Duo or whatever breaks a lot. I'm trying to decide what to buy.
So the question is PC Engine versus Turbo.
No, PC Engine only or...
PC Engine only.
Yeah.
Versus, okay.
No, I don't. The problem is, I think, so this is how I would describe it. If you just dip in and go with PC Engine, you're probably looking at 80 to 100, and then you start buying the games, and then you realize, well, there's tons of good games on cards, that a lot of the games that you might have looked at or you want to play, you start realizing that they're on CD. And then you have to sell that PC Engine. Well, you either decide, okay, I'm done, or then I have to sell the PC Engine, and then I have to invest more money in getting a Duo-R. Duo-Rs have gone up in price, and they're not cheap. But you drop about $300 on a Duo-R, you mod the card slot, and you're done. You don't have to worry about anything ever again. You have the system that you need to play everything you would want to on the PC Engine. You don't even really have to mod the card slot. There are a handful of good games that do rely on, text, but the majority of games that people want to play on the PC Engine don't rely on any text whatsoever. So even if you can't get, the mod card slot, you're not going to miss out on a lot. Those Turbo games that do rely on text at this point cost a good amount, like Kadash. That's always the one that I think of. I love Kadash. And that, you kind of want to be able to read some stuff in Kadash, but you can get by. So everyone I know who's ended up buying a PC Engine who really gets into it always goes, I should have just got the Duo-R.
It's a gateway.
And the Duo-R is really reliable. I mean, at least compared to the original Duo or the Turbo Duo, the Duo-R is a much better system and has way less problems.
Got a question in the back. How about that little guy? Hey.
If you could have any video game you don't already have, what would it be?
If we could have any video game we don't already have, what would it be? Any game that you want to own that you don't have.
So there's a shooter, like a horizontal shooter, that has a cute dragon for the PC Engine. It's adorable. It's called Coryun, and right now that's probably the game I want more than anything. It's adorable.
I would like to own, let's see about that, the Hong Kong NES cart for Mahjong, because that way Ian would always be jealous of me having it. Because he wants that to complete his Mahjong collection. That's the one I would want.
Actually, the two games that I really, like Core Unit is what I want now, but it's funny. I started collecting Mahjong games because I really like Mahjong, and humorously, it's one of the cheapest like game genres to collect for. I mean, they're all over the place. However, two of the most expensive games in the world are Mahjong games, and I really want them. Yeah, Hong Kong, NES cartridge Mahjong, and Super Real Mahjong 3 Special Custom, which there's like 15 copies of in the world. It's for PC Engine. It was a contest giveaway. There's a regular version for the PC Engine, and then there's the contest special giveaway for the PC Engine.
Well, there you go. We got about 5 to 10 more minutes. Who else wants to ask a question? Yes, in the hat.
Yeah. Guys, have any opinions or comments on retro game subscription boxes?
Comments on, or opinions on retro game subscription boxes? I think there's like 2 or 3 that are out there.
Yeah, I used one of them, and I realized I'm not the right collector for that.
Well, that's a tough business model just because you know, constant influx of games that your subscribers won't think is just filler trash, right? But then the cost to get those games people want can be weird, and how do you keep up with that? So I haven't experienced one. I've heard things that they can be pretty good or not so good. So that's tough. I don't know. I mean, I guess I kind of did. I did do a subscription when I did my first 2 DVD Kickstarters. I did like a grab bag box. It was like $70 or $80 where you got the DVD. You got like $50 to $80 worth of games. So I try to make sure there was at least the value there to do that. And most people I didn't hear back from. I hear a couple people say, "Oh, I got some Atari games in there." It's like, well, how do you want this to go? I can't throw a little Samsons in there, you know, to you. So otherwise, I go out and it can't exist. So the only way I think it can really work, but that's more like gambling. If they put out an expensive game every so often, say, oh, this month someone gets like a Super Airzonk. But then that's a ton of money to do that. Then people are just gambling on it at that point.
You can always vary, depending if you get it in a box or just a loose card, a CD in a jewel case or something.
Yeah.
The value can totally fluctuate. I pay like $40 a month, but then I was like looking at what I got, and I'm like, I don't even know if this adds up to 40.
Oh, okay.
Am I like going to resell it, or if it's like the price is based on retail,
Yeah, so it's a strange thing because it's not like a loot crate where they get that stuff at a low cost in wholesale. You can't, for the most part, wholesale retro games unless you find someone with a ton of stuff saying, "Well, give it to me for pennies on the dollar." You can't really do that. It's not a new product, so it's kind of hard to control the cost. Yeah. Ian Hazen.
I just don't like subscription boxes in general.
No. You know Loot Crate, sponsors for 2 years. Yes, sir, in the back.
Hi. Who is Frank to you?
Frank to me is a very special friend. Next question. Yes, on the end.
With all the FPGA consoles out, do you think there will be any consoles that will be kind of left, kind of in the dust?
FPGA, will there be consoles that will not get an FPGA version? Oh, absolutely. There'll be a ton. Ian wants an Emerson Arcadia 2001 FPGA. I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
I want the best 5200 FPGA ever. I love the 5200, I'm sorry. Unapologetic.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. It's like you don't bring up every freaking podcast.
I sure do.
In the back with the blonde hair? Yes. You both have blonde hair. You both can get that question.
Are you looking to sell your NWC Gold in the near future?
Am I looking to sell my NWC Gold in the near future? I mean, like this weekend? Like, you have the cash on you? Is that what we were saying?
Tonight.
Do you have any sort of plans for that?
What was that?
Do you have any sort of plans of that nature?
I don't know. I guess when I'm 50 in a couple of years, I'll think about it.
A couple of years.
I'm getting old. I'm like, my aging is accelerating.
He's 47.
I hear the amounts it's gotten turned down for. I've turned down a lot of money for it. We'll see. I don't know. When I'm 7 years old, I won't have any need for it. I'll need teeth more than that. And next to you was another blonde person. No, you were raising your hand for him. Oh, that's so sweet. It's like teamwork to get an awful answer out of me. Yes, sir.
Do you have any advice or prep or anything like that in terms of how to deal with the fact that pretty much any new Nintendo product or collector's edition or anything, the pre-orders tend to go immediately and then they get scalped on eBay?
How to deal with scalpers for limited stuff that Nintendo puts out. Learn not to care about this stuff.
Yes.
Don't care. There's more important things to worry about than getting that Majora's Mask 3DS or whatever the hell it was. Was it a Majora? I don't know.
Honestly, a lot of that stuff now Nintendo's getting a little bit better about, and it turns up later for close to retail. I mean, at least in my experience working in retail, a lot of that comes around again, and it settles back to a reasonable price. And for the stuff that doesn't, I really don't have any tips.
Okay.
Sorry.
A couple more questions. This side's been neglected. It's got a really awesome question. Karen is working on a certain Super Nintendo dialogue she's writing for it.
Hi, Karen.
Thanks very much. I wanted to ask you this, Ian, at the last panel, but there was no time, so I think I'll ask both of you. If I'm selling some video games for some the consoles that I don't collect for, and I put them on eBay, and I've sold a few things on eBay, PlayStation games, like, should I worry about them falling into the hands of some scumbag seller or reseller? And how can I avoid those people?
How do you avoid scumbag resellers and sellers when you're selling your games? How do you avoid that, Ian?
At some point, you just have to hope you're not. But I mean, really, if you don't want that to happen, you should probably do
trades.
Probably do trades or do sales in person, and just don't price them too low. I mean, when I need to get rid of games, I tend to price them really reasonably. But you want to make sure you're just pricing them at a price point where the profit margin isn't going to be enough for them to care. I mean, that's all I can say. You know, you'll move stuff well at like a $10 discount below. You know, if it's a game that's going for a decent amount, you know, somewhere in the $50, $60 range, let's say. Say you've got some decent stuff like that, and you let it go for $10 less, you're going to move it, but you're probably not going to move it to a scalper who's going to resell it because that's not enough for them, most likely.
You want to make sure you want to not make too little, for example, on a Caltron 6-in-1. You want to price it appropriately. That's what I would say. Time for one more question. A really good question that's going to blow our minds. Like, really, like, oh my God. What you can choose in the back, front, middle, what we got?
That person in the last row with the tallest arm.
The tallest arm? Him?
I guess so. Because the other person put their arm down. So it's you. It's you in the baseball cap. You're standing.
Let's do it.
You're standing, baseball cap man.
Which one of you two would win the fight?
Which one of us will win the fight? Is it like Batman, you get prep time? Or how does that work?
Crazy beats strong every time.
Well, okay. I didn't know I was that crazy. Or not crazy at all. All right, I think that's good. So Ian and I have to fight it out at some point. We'll do a whole Logan Paul KSI thing at the end on pay-per-view. We'll do it on Twitch. We'll do it live. All right, guys, thanks so much for coming out. We're going to be signing autographs at 4 to 5 in the autograph session. I believe it's up that way, but I'm not positive. And yeah, come see my man shirts. Enjoy the rest of your convention.